The Hungry Frog, based on a Russian folktale. Adapted by Tami Amir, illustrated by Michelle Beilin. This is the front of the book, the spine, and the back of the book. The Hungry Frog. This is the title page, The Hungry Frog, adapted by Tami Amir, illustrated by Michelle Beilin, based on a Russian folktale. Once upon a time, there was a swamp, and in the swamp, there were water and mud and two frogs who were friends. The two frogs jumped together, croaked together, and ate together. They were such good friends that they did everything together. One day, the two frogs could not find anything to eat in the swamp. No insects, no worms, and no fish eggs. Nothing. They were so hungry, they decided to leave the swamp and look for food elsewhere. The two frogs climbed out of the water and hopped around the field looking for something good to eat, but they couldn't find a thing. So they hopped farther and farther away from the swamp until they reached a garden. In one corner of the garden, they saw some tall milk cans. The first frog said, "Let's climb up one of those cans and peek inside. Maybe there's some good food in there." The second frog was afraid. "It's too high," she said, "and it's too dangerous." The first frog said, "If we don't climb up the can, we'll never know what's inside." But her friend was afraid. "If we climb up the can, we might fall in," she said. The first frog was getting impatient. "Well, climb up and that's that. Croak, croak, croak. I'm hungry." The second frog would not agree. "Croak, croak, croak. You can do what you want. I'm going back to the swamp," she said, and hopped home alone. The first frog stayed in the garden. Slowly but surely, she climbed up one of the cans. She climbed and climbed, higher and higher, until she reached the top. The frog stood on the edge of the open can, peered inside, and saw it was full of something white. "It must be food," thought the frog, "but such strange-looking food. It's so white. I've never seen food that looks like that. I wonder if it tastes good." The frog leaned over to taste the strange white food inside the can, but all of a sudden, she slipped and fell into the cream. How frightening! She tried to escape, to climb out of the can, but every time she tried, she slipped back inside. The sides of the can were smooth, and there was nothing to hold on to. The frog began to fight the cream. She kicked out her legs in all directions. She threw herself from side to side. She flapped and she jerked. Deep inside her heart, she said to herself, "It's very hard to get out of this can. Perhaps I'll never get out, but I'll fight, and I'll never surrender. For as long as I'm able, I'll try to get out, and I won't give up." The frog struggled in the cream with all her might. She twisted around and sent her legs flying up and down and from side to side. She kept telling herself, "Just don't sink, just don't drown." Then all of a sudden, something happened. The frog felt as if she had stopped swimming. She was standing on something hard. Suddenly, there was a floor under her feet. The frog looked around and saw that all the soft white cream that had filled the can had disappeared, and in its place, there was a big, hard lump. "What's this? What happened? Where has this lump come from?" wondered the frog. She didn't know that she herself, with her own little feet, had turned the soft cream into hard butter. Because that's what happens with cream. If you whip it, it turns into butter. "What a relief," thought the frog. "I was right not to give up. I was right not to surrender." She rested for another minute, then leaped out of the can and hopped back to the swamp. Tired and hungry, but happy to be safe, the frog was proud that she didn't give up.